Okay, everyone, our mission is to provide complete balanced nutrition for strength and energy.
Ensure complete balanced nutrition with 27 vitamins and minerals, and Ensure Complete with 30 grams of protein.
Facing expensive vitamin C creams with dull results? Olay brightens it up with Olay Vitamin C. Gives you 2 times brighter skin. Hydrates better than the $400 cream. Shop at Olay.com.
Next DT, breaking Bridgerton Season 3 news.
Does anyone have a red wig and a yellow dress?
Only we're with Lady Whistledown and The Diamond. Their big surprise for diehard fans of The Ton. Now, from the Bridgerverse to the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Happening now.
Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas in the Rio Grande Valley to discuss what immigration officials are going to do should Title 42 end next week. That's coming up.
Are organizations here in the Rio Grande Valley prepared for the possible influx of asylum seekers? And is that what people who live here on the border want to see? Good afternoon, I'm Alicia Barrera, and I have that story coming up.
Another record-breaking day today, but there is an end in sight to this record-breaking heat. We'll talk more about it in just a bit. The News at 5 starts right now.
All eyes on the Rio Grande Valley as Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas visits the region.
And this visit comes as the Biden administration prepares to end a COVID policy that turned away migrants at the border.
Our Stefania Jimenez is live along the border wall in the Rio Grande Valley with the latest. Steph, the secretary says they know what they're going to do coming up. So the big question is, what's the plan?
Okay, so the plan involves a few different things, Steve. One of them is vaccinating more migrants along the border. The other thing is also adding more manpower along the border. As this administration prepares to deal with the end of Title 42. We should also mention that the secretary has spent the day along different parts of the border today, meeting with Customs and Border Protection agents to try and get a feel as to what they need should Title 42 end next week. Now, you have to keep in mind there are several moving parts to this. We will get to that in a moment, but first we want to show you more of Secretary Mayorkas' visit as the agents say they need more manpower, more equipment to deal with a possible increase of migrants coming through the border. Now, Homeland Security is saying that as many as 6,000 people try to come through here every day, but that number may more than double. Here's the thing, though. We asked the secretary specifics, meaning how many migrants exactly are immigration officials prepared to process if they come through the border after Title 42 ends. And listen to what he said.
We are addressing a level of migration that is historic, and they are doing an extraordinary job in managing the current flow. As the plans that we published a few weeks ago evidence, what we have done is not necessarily predict the flow that we might encounter, but rather we have planned for different scenarios that could in fact materialize.
All right, so you just heard the secretary right there. Basically, there are no specifics as far as Homeland Security is concerned. It just doesn't know what's going to happen should Title 42 end next week. Now, what it is going to do is to vaccinate migrants as they come here across the border and add more than 600 CBP agents. And that's the adding of the manpower that CBP agents had already asked for. Now, we just described to you the technical side of this, but you have to remember there's a very human side to all of this, and this is all the people who live here along the Rio Grande Valley. How do they feel about the potential for more immigrants to cross the border? Well, that's what our Alicia Barrera has been trying to determine today and speaking with different homeowners along the valley. She joins us now in Hidalgo with more. Alicia.
Good afternoon, Stefania. Well, yesterday we got here, and the first thing we did, we headed about 15 miles west of where we're at right now, and that's in the city of Peñitas. It's a small rural area. We talked to property owners there, and then this morning we headed 15 miles east of where we are now, and that's in the city of Donna. And we got pretty much the same feel there. Both property owners in both of those cities share with me that really the fence is their backyard, so they do admit that traffic when it comes to undocumented immigrants in these last 2-3 months has been pretty slow. And now they're really on edge of what could come Monday. So just in a matter of days, they are aware that things could definitely change. These property and business owners say that, but they do say that a fence is not enough. They do recognize that part. We spoke to one rancher. His name is Richard Guerra Sr. He owns several thousand acres for his cattle business out in Roma, Texas. That's about an hour west of where we are. And while many are focused on the rights of asylum seekers when it comes to Title 42, Guerra says there aren't enough people fighting for his rights as a property owner. He doesn't want Title 42 lifted because he fears his property, which sits on the border, would be continuously damaged by undocumented immigrants running through his land. He says 1 mile of game fence can cost him anywhere around $20,000.
A lot of landowners like myself, we have common problems, people coming across, contaminating their property, their cattle, doing damages to fences. By removing Title 42, you're going to add to an existing burden. The total effect, we don't know what the total effect is going to be like, but we know it's not going to be good.
So now they wait. They, as in property owners, business owners, they wait to see if come Monday the Biden administration will fully lift Title 42. But coming up at 6, we'll hear from organizations who advocate for asylum seekers, and they say that Title 42 must be lifted immediately. Live in Hidalgo, Alicia Barrera, KSAT 12 News. Stefania, back to you.
Alicia, thank you. And, Myra and Steve, the thing is here that you keep hearing the word if Title 42 were to end. And the reason why is that may not happen. And that is because there is a federal lawsuit that is underway. We have 24 states, including our own state of Texas, suing the federal government, trying to stop it from ending Title 42 next week. The judge in that case says that he is expected to release his opinion on that sometime before the Title 42 is set to expire. So a lot of people are expecting that decision to come down sometime next week. Now, here's the thing. What happens then? What is the Biden administration prepared to do if Title 42 does remain in place for the foreseeable future? Well, that's a question that we ask the secretary, and you're going to get his response when we see you at 6 o'clock. For now, we're live in the Rio Grande Valley. Stefania Jimenez, KSAT 12 News. Myra, Steve?
All right, thank you, Stephanie. Of course, Title 42 is a provision of federal law enacted during the pandemic that allows people coming to the U.S. who want to seek asylum. They're essentially turned away because of the threat of communicable disease. So with so much focus on the end of Title 42 at this point in the pandemic, you might have questions about its beginning. When was it first created? How has it upended the U.S. immigration system over the past 2 years? Scan the QR code you see right here to find out. That will take you to a KSAT Explains episode focused on Title 42 and the policies in place right now in this country when it comes to someone wanting to seek asylum. You can also find that by going to ksat.com/explains.
Guilty of murder. That's the verdict handed down to David Hinojosa. He's on trial for the 2017 murder of Joseph Torres. The punishment phase already underway. Torres fatally shot outside a Southeast Side bar in August of 2017. It's now up to a jury to decide how long Hinojosa will spend in jail. Punishment can range anywhere from 5 years to life in prison. The jury should have a decision by tomorrow.
A string of car burglaries in a Northwest neighborhood leading to a shooting, and now the search for the suspects. This happened along Babe Ruth Street. That's near Eckerd and John Marshall High School. It was around 5 o'clock in the morning. One homeowner sharing what he heard next.
Ran inside, told my wife, hey, gunshot. I hear in a distance yelling going on, like, hey, and go, 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 go. And all of a sudden you heard about 9 rounds go off.
According to San Antonio police, one of the burglars fired shots at a car owner. No one was hit, but an SUV was. At last check, no one had been arrested.
We've got an update now on a deadly shooting we told you about yesterday on the news at 5. A 15-year-old shot dead in the middle of a West Side street. He's been identified as Ethan Soto. This was on Alston Street near Greenside, near Soto's home. His brother told SAPD he thought he was going to meet someone about money. An argument started and ended with Soto being killed. 2 teenagers were detained at the scene. A suspect has not been named. An act of domestic terrorism. That's how President Joe Biden describes the mass shooting at the Top supermarket on Saturday in Buffalo, New York.
He and First Lady Jill Biden meeting with the victims' families today. The president now renewing his call for a ban on assault weapons. It's what the alleged gunman, 18-year-old Peyton Gendron, used to kill 10 people and injure 3 others, all while live streaming his rampage.
And I watched the video. He shot my mom once. My mom was laying on the ground. He went and reloaded. And he shot my mom again.
Unbelievable. Law enforcement officials say Gendron self-radicalized during the pandemic. They say he compiled lengthy documents planning why and how he planned to carry out the shooting.
Memorial Day coming up. That means more drivers will likely be out on the roads. It's also why TxDOT is launching its annual Click It or Ticket campaign. Last year, TxDOT says more than 3,500 crashes were reported in which people were not buckled up. 103 of those crashes in San Antonio resulted in deaths or serious injuries. So from May 23rd, that's next Monday, to June 5th, fines are being raised to $200 if you're not wearing your seatbelt.
Let's check out traffic on this Tuesday. Traffic Tuesday. I-35 north at Loop 410. And yeah, this is not what you want to see if you're out and about on a hot day. Traffic backed up as 410 loops around to I-35, but no major traffic tie-ups to tell you about. This is just pretty normal for this area, actually.
You know, it's not normal. Another record high temperature.
Yeah, I see the triple digits there.
Yes, another record high temperature in the books today. That would be the 4th in a row. We made it to 100 degrees for the high so far today. I say so far because sometimes we can see a little change between now and about 6:30 p.m. So take a look at the almanac data. 100 the high temperature. That beats the record by 3 degrees. And the average high, by the way, 87. Floresville 100, Santa Maria 98. Eagle Pass 100 along with Lavernia, Seguin 96. You get the idea. It's still hot out there. Summer-like the rest of this evening. By 10 o'clock, lower 80s with increasing humidity, but there is an end in sight to this record-breaking heat. We'll talk about it in a bit.
All right, thank you, Adam. And despite recent requests to turn up our thermostats in our homes, the state's main power grid operator, ERCOT, says it is ready to handle the summer heat and demand for electricity. So how do they plan to do it? Well, according to Peter Lake with the Public Utility Commission of Texas, ERCOT is operating with safety and precautions in mind. They'll bring up more generators sooner than later when needed. He calls ERCOT's current status more reliable than ever before. But that statement comes just a few days after Texans were asked to conserve energy on some of the hottest days we've seen so far.
The reforms I speak of were tested last weekend. As you know, we had record-breaking heat, record-breaking demand for electricity, combined with low wind generation and an unusually high number of generators tripping offline in a short period of time, meant that we had tight grid conditions.
Lake says conservation alerts are part of its new business model. In the past, Lake says it would not have issued an alert like they did a few days ago, but this is one way they're working to be more proactive. It's still ahead on the news at 5. Is it time for an electronic upgrade? If you're looking for a new tablet, some suggestions that are both small and budget friendly. We're going to show them to you after the break.
He was the first Bexar County deputy to die of COVID-19, but now the county wants to strip his widow of her benefits. So why?
The fact that the county continues to deny this claim is to me, it's shameless, it's disgusting, it's like my husband didn't exist.
A story you will want to see. It's a Defender's investigation tonight at 6:30. Plus, May is Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month, and tonight at 6 o'clock, our RJ Marquez speaking with the family of a man who just lost his life in a motorcycle crash. Anthony Galvan died riding his motorcycle on the far west side, leaving behind a wife and young son. We'll tell you what his wife is now saying and show you the outpouring of support for the family.
New at 5, tablets They're super handy, electronics bigger than a phone, but not as clunky as a laptop. So no matter your budget, 12 on your side's Marilyn Moritz shows us some solid tablet options.
If you're looking for a tablet for yourself or the kids, you don't have to spend a lot. There are options for less than $100. If you're on a budget, Consumer Reports recommends the Amazon Fire HD8. It has an 8-inch screen, expandable storage, and the battery lasts 15 hours. An even less expensive option is the older Amazon Fire 7. The screen's an inch smaller, it's lightweight, and it does the job for checking email and reading the news.
Both of these Amazon tablets allow restricted profiles for kids, which makes them a great option for families.
Also true for Samsung's 2019 Galaxy Tab A8.0. CR says it's one of the best tablets for less than $300. It has an 8-inch display and it's proven reliable. Thinking bigger? They say consider last year's Apple iPad. This display is more than 10 inches and it's fast for everyday tasks.
These are great little tablets that score excellent in almost every category, including owner satisfaction and performance.
But if you need more of a workhorse, one that might even replace a laptop for things like video editing, and you've got the funds, CR says consider this top-of-the-line model, Apple's iPad Pro with a 12.9-inch screen. It's super fast, takes excellent photos and videos, and it's very easy to use. Remember, when you're choosing a tablet, that all app stores are not created equal. Google Play and Apple offer more than others. Marilyn Moritz, KSAT 12 News.
All right, look, it's cooled off a degree.
Oh, yeah.
We're only at 99 now.
Traffic Tuesday, we were joking about that earlier. Triple digit Tuesday,
yeah.
As well. That's not good.
I'm guessing a cloud probably went over the thermometer there.
We now get the cirrus clouds, that thin veil of clouds to move overhead. Would have been nice to have them earlier today. More record challenging heat, but there is an end in sight to that, and that's with a weak cold front this weekend. Along with it, a few storm chances. So we're going to talk about it all right now. Look at our temperature trend for the rest of this weekend into Saturday. We're up there, well into the 90s. Tomorrow, likely to have another record high temperature, at least tie the record high by making it to 98, and then just a little below the record highs Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, but still well into the 90s. Look what happens, though, by Sunday and into early next week, Monday, Tuesday, we're looking at highs in the mid-80s at that point, and that's basically near average for this time of year. Looking across the state, though, many locations in the triple digits. Lubbock, an even 100, Midland 101, Junction as well, Abilene 102, Del Rio 101. The record today in Del Rio is 105. They made it to 102. Cotulla, though, 106. I mean, you get the idea. This looks like a July or especially August temperature map, but no, it's still mid-May, and this is the kind of heat we're having. Port SA 100 along with Divine, and 95 right now in Helotes. So tomorrow morning, right near 70 degrees, mostly cloudy early, then very sunny again. And we get back up to near 100 for the high temperature. We're thinking officially at the airport, about 98 degrees, but a good portion of San Antonio and Bexar County will be 100. You get to the west side, 102, south side, 101, even Floresville, Nixon, 102, New Braunfels, probably even triple digits tomorrow. So we're going to feel it. But the key is, just like today and the past several days, the dew point and the humidity is going to drop off during the hottest part of the day. So we already have seen a big drop in the dew point this afternoon. It's down in the 50s right now. Tomorrow we'll start the day humid as usual at night and early morning. High humidity, dew point is 68 at 8 a.m. and then it drops down into the 50s by 4 p.m. So the heat index is not going to be a big factor tomorrow. Here's the big picture. A few thunderstorms flaring up near Big Bend National Park. Now, some of those could drift toward Valverde County later on this evening. About a 20% chance of that. Otherwise, upper level high has been influencing our weather. But our next little feature to affect us is near Las Vegas. This dip in the upper level flow. That's going to head our way, get here by late Friday. We've got a 20% chance of a few storms developing Friday night, especially later Friday. Then Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, we could have some pop-up and a few developing thunderstorms, but it's still just a 20% chance, so nothing very reliable at this point. 71 tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., mostly cloudy, quickly clearing out by noon, sunny, right near 90 degrees. 98 the high temperature, 4 and 5 o'clock. We'll have the same breeze tomorrow as what we had today. South-southeasterly wind at times gusting up to 25. So it's nice to have a bit of a breeze. And look at that low temperature Sunday morning. Whoa, 61? Wow.
Burr.
Sounds good. Thank you, Adam.
All right, some people have a lucky charm, maybe a rabbit's foot. We have an admiral.
We sure do. David Robinson trying to make the magic happen again at the NBA Draft Lottery, which is tonight. What are the odds of Spurs land the #1 overall pick? And we're going to get you ready for the KSAT Pigskin Classic 2022 coming up.
The San Antonio Spurs will pick first in the 1987 NBA Draft.
Bob, congratulations, first of all. Clearly, David Robinson is a top pick in the draft this year, but he comes with some complications, that 2-year military hitch. Will you still go after him?
We waited 14 years. What's 2 more?
It's hard to believe that was 35 years ago when the Spurs won the NBA Draft Lottery for the first time. Then general manager Bob Bass made it very clear to the world that David Robinson would be the first pick of the 1987 NBA Draft. Live comes full circle tonight when the Admiral will be the in-person representative for the Spurs at tonight's NBA Draft Lottery in Chicago. Even though the Admiral had just served 2 years in the Navy before joining the Silver and Black in 1989, it worked out pretty well for the Spurs. Robinson collecting 2 NBA titles as a player, 3 more as a minority team investor. History has already repeated itself when the Spurs won the Draft Lottery again in 1997 over Philadelphia and Boston and used that first pick to scoop up Tim Duncan, and 5 championships later turned out to be the best thing to ever happen to this team. Now tonight, the Spurs are hoping that magic to happen again, even though they only have a 4.5% chance to win the #1 pick, but they do have over a 20% chance to land in the top 4 to go along with their 2 other first-round picks this year. Number 20, thanks to the trade with Toronto. Number 25 in the deal that sent Derek White to Boston. It all happens tonight at 7 in Chicago before tip-off of Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals between Miami and Boston. It is a first in San Antonio high school football history. 3 games in 1 day, 1 location, all broadcast, local live television, wire to wire to kick off the season. 6 powerhouse teams from the San Antonio surrounding area will be participating in the first annual KSAT Pigskin Classic 2022, live in the Alamo Dome on August 27th, and will be carried live here on KSAT 12 from start to finish in what will amount to be over a 12-hour broadcast, all starting with our pregame show at 11 a.m. It'll be Smithson Valley versus Reagan, the first game at 11:30, followed by the Johnson Jaguars hosting the Judson Rockets at 3:30, and the nightcap Steel against Brennan at 7:30 will also feature the halftime performances of all the schools, including the dance team, cheer, and pep squads, and in addition, $48,000 in scholarships to be handed out on that day. And if you would like to be a part of the special event on Saturday, August 27th, we have a QR code all set up to answer all of your questions, including where to buy tickets, and you can be a part of our KSAT Insiders. This is a massive event. It's taking us a lot of planning. We have meetings every week, and we want you to be a part of this. If you're not able to get down to the Alamo Dome, we want you to be part of our broadcast.
It hasn't been done before.
Never, not to this scale, not to kick off a season.
Yeah. Thanks, Greg.
We'll be right back.
Another record-breaking day likely tomorrow. That would make it the 5th day in a row of tying or breaking the record high temperature. We'll make it to about 98. The record, well, is 98. It wouldn't surprise me if we made it to 99 or even more, especially in some outlying areas. Then by Sunday, back down into the 80s.
Thanks for watching the news at 5.
See you at 6.